We are going to discuss the salient features of Victorian drama today and some of the few important writers who were playwrights and who contributed to the growth of Victorian drama. Coming to the features of Victorian drama, farces and pantomimes were very popular in this age. When we look at the definition of farce, it is defined as a comic dramatic work using buffoonery and horseplay and typically including crude characterization and improbable situations. And as far as pantomimes are concerned, pantomimes are made for theatrical entertainments, mainly for children, which involves a lot of music, jokes, and slapstick comedy also, and is based on a fairy tale or a nursery story. And it's usually produced around Christmas. So, farces and pantomimes were popular during this Victorian era. Melodrama and historical plays were also popular. Convent Garden and Drury Lane were enlarged. And when we say this, we have to understand that what do they stand for are that these are the two popular or patent theatres which were expanded in 1790s to accommodate almost 3,500 people each. And there were some other theatres also which were popular, Adelphi and Sadler Wells. They were also popular. So this uh, actually shows the popularity of drama because these theatres were expanded. Lavish spectacles and sensational plays were also popular. Now, when we say spectacles, spectacles were performed to guarantee more audience, that is, to bring about the audience. So, we know that there was an increase influx in the middle class audience because London's immediate suburbs contributed to the rise of this kind of a drama. And then sensational novels, they were becoming popular. So were the sensation plays or sensation drama. We'll just have a brief look at who were the popular sensational playwrights. Then use of everyday English. uh, Victorian popular drama, they tried to use as much as possible the everyday English that people could be interested in. When we discuss Victorian drama, although this is an era which is not widely recognized for its play, but still we have certain famous writers like Thackeray, Dickens, Wilkie Collins, Lytton, Trollope, etc., who wrote dramas. And one more thing which is interesting is that romantic writers, Coleridge, Shelley, Byron, and Wordsworth, who wrote plays earlier, those plays were staged during this period. So they are automatically put under this umbrella when they were their plays were staged. Four playwrights which were very popular of the Victorian era are Douglas Jerrold, Tom Taylor, Thomas William Robertson, and Henry Arthur Jones. Why these four are very popular and they produced immense drama work because the number goes to 255. They produced certain plays. Then we have Tennyson, who was the poet laureate of England, who also wrote two very huge spectacles. One was Queen Mary, another was Becket. And then we see that the theatres were expanded. So we have sensation drama, which was popularized by Dion Bocall, and the famous ones are the Colleen Bawn, the Flying Scud, After Dark, etc. He created certain successful plays which helped popularize the genre of sensation drama. Then we have tragedies. Historical plays also remain popular. We have a name here, Douglas Jerrold. Certain tragedies included Wordsworth's The Borderers, although it was written in 1795 but was produced in 1842 only. Then we have Coleridge, who wrote Remorse, 1813. Then we have Browning's Strafford and Shelley's The Cenci, which appeared on the stage in the year 1886. Comedies and farces, as we discussed earlier, often dealing with troubled marriages and with exaggerated characters, remained popular. And Arthur Wing Pinaro is a name here who is known for Dandy Dick. And then we have The Squire also by him. Douglas Jerrold, we discussed that he was a popular farce writer. Arthur Wing Pinero, we have to discuss it here that he was an actor who abandoned acting in favor of scripting, and he became more popular as a script writer. And this the Squire, as we have written in the slide, this was his first major success, which was followed up by farces of other kinds. But one more name we have to remember here is that the high point of Pinaro's career was Second Mrs. Tanqueray. This was a play about domestic adjustment between the husband and the wife, and it was a very popular play. Douglas Cherol, he was a prolific playwright and successful also. He started off his career as a journalist and a short story writer, and earlier his writings appeared in the Punch and other magazines. Gerald began with a melodrama. Some of the popular melodrama was The Mutiny at the Nore, The Factory Girl, and others. But he was not successful. He was very unhappy by his theatre managers, and he founded his own society, Dramatic Authors Society, in 1833. And this society was primarily formed to protect the interest of the playwrights. And during his early years, he tried his hand at social plays, and one play which was titled 15 Years of a Drunken's Life, which dealt with the degeneration of alcoholism and crime. It became popular. Then he wrote Black Eyed Susan. This was also, it dealt with the life of Seaman's life. These were huge successes. Then we have Gerald, who looked at propertied classes. He dealt with propertied classes and who wanted money for social status. One of his historical plays, very significant, titled Thomas A. Becket. As his career grew, he turned more towards comedies. Then we have one more writer, Tom Taylor. He was the editor of Punch and wrote art criticism for the magazine Times and Graphic. He was a successful playwright, and his first foray into drama, it began with the farces. Trip to Kissington, a schoolboy, deals with the schoolboy pranks and escapades, is a popular one. Another one is the R. Clarks. This is a comedy which deals with the lives, loves, and poverty of a lawyer who was named Hazard and his clerks. But his most popular successful play is To Oblige Benson. This was a comedy about Mr. Benson's flirtations with young men. Then we have Masks and Faces, another popular play. It is about theatre personalities, and where the central play is Peg Foggington, and the courtship and multiple love interest involves Peg and then constitutes a play. Another playwright of this period is Thomas William Robertson. He had a mixed success as a playwright during the early part of his career. But by the end of 1860s, it is said that he was extremely popular. David Garrick is the most successful play by him. But Society is the play that gave him immense success. It dealt with a cross section of England, the aristocratic to the middle class society. Then one more play, Ours, also was written on the similar pattern, which portrayed the landscape of English society. Now, wealth, love, appropriate or inappropriate marriages, social status, they were the main themes in his plays. Caste was another play by him, which talked about the troubling event in history, the Indian Mutiny of 1857. Then we have Henry Arthur Jones. He wrote some exceptional pieces of criticism, on the English stage. He also began his career with melodrama. The Silver King. The Silver King is a famous play by him, which deals with the life of Denver, who was a gambler and whose supposed involvement in murder and robbery. The story goes like this. The plot is full of action. There is a lot of action in this, and melodramatic situations are there. Gangsters are there, eviction, people are dead, etc. We have one more play by Henry Arthur Jones, Saints and Sinners. This is also a popular one. Then, when we have a look at the late Victorian age, because as we move on towards the modern age, there were few writers who are frequently studied under Edwardian or Georgian or modern literature, but they began their writing careers in the late Victorian period. So most of the novelists from this period, they retained their realistic mode, and social satire, as we discussed in our earlier session, was a popular genre in this period. Considering about the famous writers of this period, we have some names like George Gissing. He was known for his polemical essays. Then we have George Moore also. He written novels about deep sensuality. He has some very good works to his credit. Then we have a very big name here, R.L. Stevenson, who is the ever popular writer of Treasure Island and Kidnapped and etc. Treasure Island was one of the most popular tales that about children, and Stevenson immediately gets attention as a great entertaining writer from this one. Then we have Joseph Conrad. Conrad is again, sorry, before Conrad, we have Thomas Hardy. So, Thomas Hardy is considered to be one of the most enduring novelists of English language as far as novel is concerned. And we have a lot of novels: The Return of the Native, The Mayor of Casterbridge. We will be reading into detail about Thomas Hardy when we will discuss his novel, which has been prescribed in the syllabus. Then we have Joseph Conrad. He was Hardy's contemporary, and he attempted his hand. He was considered to be a master of narrative technique. Some of his fine works are Heart of Darkness and Lord Jim, Nostromo, famous ones. Then we have Samuel Butler, who had established his reputation as a writer with just one novel, The Way of All Flesh, which was a satirical portrait of an English family. And Butler drew upon his childhood experiences in this novel. Then we have Oscar Wilde, and before that, we have Francis Thompson, who was a poet, and his poetry is marked by faith and self doubt. And he has written some very good poems related to the Hound of Heaven and how God pursues or wayward souls and lap souls. Oscar Wilde is a significant novelist of this age, and he is somebody who is celebrated for his plays and his homosexuality also at times. His fame rests on one big novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and some shorter pieces also which depicts the corruption of the English bourgeois society and inability of the art, etc. So these were the famous, very few of the famous writers or novelists or poets of this late Victorian age. Now, before we end these sessions, because we have already finished 6 sessions on the Victorian age, we will not talk into detail about the last word written on the slide, which is said masculinities, but we will just get an idea what does it stand for, because uh, the Victorian era has been analyzed and criticized also for an overemphasis on masculinity because it was the reign of empire. And some kind of sexual code, sexual panic is depicted in majority of the writers of this age, and also certain homosexual activities which were considered illegal, etc. And there were debates about them. So we have this kind of constructed masculinities when we read the Victorians, and we can have certain examples from the late Victorian texts to see how, in an age of empire, the theme of masculinity, it interrogates gender roles and it interrogates social relations also. So what we can see is that certain Victorian codes of behavior and sexuality, they were questioned and subverted also in certain literary representations, such as a few examples which we are not taking up here, we can take them later on. And there are certain subtexts also by such writers who reveal how ambivalent and self contradictory the appearances were in the Victorian age. So, students, this was all about the Victorian age, the four genres: fiction, non fiction, poetry, drama. We will be taking up individual writers in our next sessions, and also we will discuss some of the few literary terms which deal with deal directly with the text or the poems which have been prescribed for our study. Thank you.